Hi everyone, I'm Zanotti, and today we're going to do a review of the Panasonic GX8. Now currently on the Panasonic GX8 you are looking at here, I have the, 12 to 35 millimeter zoom lens, Panasonic also, f2.8. Very good zoom lens, by the way, about $1,000, well worth it. What's good about the GX8? It is fast. It has a very fast focusing system, probably faster than what's filming this right now, which is the GH4. And I've got the, just so you know, this is the 42.5 millimeter Nocticron f1.2. Beautiful lens. Other things good. It has an articulating display. Now let me turn this on. We're off right now. So there is our articulating display. Let me get rid of the lens cap. And you can see it right there. Very good feature. Canon and Nikon should really have these in their high-end cameras. This is a $1,200 camera. It is Panasonic's flagship Micro Four Thirds photo camera. It also shoots 4K video. Not as good as the GH4. It doesn't have as many options. This only goes up to ultra high definition 3840 by 2160. It does not do 4096 or true 4K, which is a different aspect ratio from 16:9. Ultra high definition, which is what most new TVs are coming out with, is standard 16:9 aspect ratio. Very good. So anyway, articulating screen, which can be used weather sealed, by the way, this camera is. What else is good about this camera? It has in-body image stabilization. That's a good feature. If you have a lens like this one, which is stabilized, it does very good image stabilization along with it. If you have a lens that isn't stabilized, then it will stabilize it. Is it as good as other stabilization systems? Not the best, but not the worst. They say that the Olympus has a better stabilization, probably, but it's marginal. I don't think it's that much better. This uses 1 pixel stabilization. The sensor moves a pixel either which way, up, down, sideways, front and back, and I think a yawing kind of circular action. So that is how you get your, if you shoot like this, I don't care how good your image stabilization is, you're going to be bad. So it catches the little things that happen when you shoot. Focusing on this is very fast, like I mentioned before. It has a 20.1 megapixel sensor. This is currently the largest megapixel sensor on the Micro Four Thirds market today. I'm sure by tomorrow, or maybe even as I'm saying this, there is another one out there. So far, not that I know of. Now the GH4, which I'm recording with, on the new version, I imagine will have this same sensor because it is a bigger sensor. The GH4 is a 16 megapixel sensor, albeit a very good one, especially for video. What else is good about this? It has pretty much all the same photo functionality and a little bit more, a little bit higher dynamic range, a little bit better bracketing than you get on a GH4 or some of the other Micro Four Thirds camera. Very good photo quality. It does have a hot shoe, has a lot of controls up front. You can change your not shutter. Yeah, your shutter speed on the front. On the back, you've got your exposure. Then you've got exposure compensation up here. Here you have a slightly articulating electronic viewfinder. It's a pretty good viewfinder too. It is pretty clear. When I look into it, I am looking, it's very clear. I just took a picture. It is actually quite a good viewfinder. Very clean. When you change your exposure settings and everything, they will show up on your electronic viewfinder. There is a sensor button. You can turn that on or off if you don't want to have your eye go through this, because it will turn off. See, if you see it here, I am turning off just by putting my hand on the sensor. It turns off the camera, the LCD display. What's not to like? A couple things. One, no battery grip. The battery goes down here. So does the SD card, or SDXC or HC card. That means if you are tripod mounted, which we sometimes are, many times, especially if you're doing video work, you have to unmount it, open, remove, place back in, remount, put it back on, and start filming again. That's a little slow. Now, fortunately, you get enough battery life on this, probably get about 2-3 hours, which won't be too much of a hindrance, but really, that was a bad design choice. No battery grip means you have a fairly not large grip. It's not bad, but it could be bigger. I have a pretty big hand. I'm 6'2", 248 pounds or so. This is a little small, but my hand fits okay on it. With a battery grip, it would be wonderful. Really wonderful. My biggest gripe, not the battery grip, though that's an irritant, is the sheer stupidity of whatever Panasonic engineer created a 2.5 millimeter audio input jack. Why would you do 2.5 millimeter when the standard is 3.5 out there? That is very bothersome. I had to go find converters. They're not hard to find. They just don't have them everywhere. I had to order them on Amazon. Then, of course, 2 of the orders came in with the wrong converters, and finally the third one came in with the right one, because people who pick in distribution companies right now aren't always the sharpest tools in the shed, especially when you give them something that advanced like 2.5 to 3.5, or 3.5 to 2.5 converter. So dyslexic, boom, we get 2.5 to 3.5. It's those little irritants. Why do anything that is not standard nowadays? This is something Apple would do in their infinite idiocy. And yes, Apple does a lot of idiotic things, and people just buy it. Oh, so happy. The original Apple iPhone had a 2.5 millimeter jack. Everybody had to buy attachments for it. And they made hundreds of millions on those attachments. Think about it. Panasonic's not making hundreds of millions on these. They didn't even think that far. Nor did they add that as a little accessory to the camera kit. That would have been considerate. So they weren't. So that's my biggest irritation, really. Other than that, this really is a great camera. It shoots fast. It has good range. It has great focusing. It's fairly well balanced. This lens and this camera feel really good. When I put the Nocticron, which is filming us right now, on it, it's a little heavy. You could tell it's not as balanced. But with this lens, this is a perfect lens for this camera. So is the 15 millimeter small, it's almost like a pancake lens for micro four thirds that Panasonic makes. That's an f1.7. Very good. So this camera will fit many of the lenses. I have put the Olympus 40 150 millimeter on it. It is very fast on this one. That is a great zoom lens at 2.8 from beginning to end. Really good lens. This camera handled it beautifully. That lens is not image stabilized. The camera is, and frankly, I took shots out at night at full ISO, very little noise, and very stable. So the camera does a really good job, holding it. Now, mind you, I was holding the lens pretty stable as well, but still, it does a very great job. If you're looking for a point and shoot that isn't not point and shoot, for a real DSLM, digital single lens, reflex, mirrorless. Actually, what am I saying? DSLR, DSLM, digital, single lens, mirrorless, not reflex. Reflex means it bounces off the mirror, comes out the back. Very different. The mirrorless does a great job. When you put this to shutterless, or actually mirrorless shooting, it's great. There's no noise. You can hear it. Very, very fast. Now I can also set this to some other modes. You can go very fast on this one. You have a lot of different. It'll shoot, I think, up to 11 frames a second in JPEG. In RAW, I think it does about 7. Not bad. This is almost keeping up with the Canon 70 Mark II I have, which shoots 11 frames a second, full everything, full bore. It's amazing. It is one fast camera. This is fast, but not as fast. Good camera. If you're looking for a camera this size, where you can put small lenses on it, it's bigger than a point and shoot, but not that much bigger. It's a great travel camera. You can do a lot with this. There are, like I said, some small limitations, but it's a very good camera. For Tech Down Over, I'm Rick Zanotti. I'll see you next time with my co-host and friend, Jeff Blanchard. Have a good one. Oh, and by the way, I started using this with the Panasonic Image app. So if you look at me, there I am, with the Panasonic Image app. So this allows me to control what's going on there, here, which I couldn't do before. I had to go to work to do this with one of the guys helping out. Here I can do it by myself, and it's just easy. So now I am going to press the button. That'll stop the recording, and we have a wrap. Here we go. Pressing the button now. Now?